What's up YouTube, I'm just another guy and welcome back to Gibraltar United. So here we are at the end of season update. So we have, I guess we've got a little bit to go through. So I think we'll start with how we did in the competitions obviously. So Rock Cup we won, Premier Cup we won, the league we won. For the league title itself, it went all the way down to the last game of the season for I think the first time either ever or in a very long time. So it was a pretty good league title, I guess you could say, for the spectators. For me, we lost the game, which obviously wasn't great. We lost to Lincoln, but we played the second team. And really, if I could go back, I wouldn't change it. I'd accept the defeat because I was going for the Champions League. I was trying to progress past the group stages. And, you know, I think if I don't throw everything I possibly can at the group stages, then, you know, I may not get a result I maybe could have earned if I didn't. So, you know, I'm happy with that. You know, I'm happy with how the league went. You know, in the end of the day, we won it, and that was the main thing. You know, winning the league. Lincoln as well looked very strong last season, so that could be encouraging. I don't actually know how the other teams did in the Europa League, so we can go through that and look at that a bit later on as well. So, yeah, we won all the competitions. So let's, I guess, go through the fixtures and talk about how we did. So, when I last left you off, of course, was the CSK Moscow game. After that, we only drew one game, and it was actually the next league game after the Lincoln defeat. We drew 0-0 to Angels. So that was a bit weird, you know, 2 games without a win, which is very, very rare for a team like us. So obviously, it didn't affect the overall outcome of the season, as of course the 4-1 for Winter Lynx. We won pretty much every game. We won every game after that, not pretty much, exactly every game after that. Smashed Leo FC 7-0 in the Senior League Cup semi-final was a standout performance, as well as the 9-1 win against Angels. Of course, the cup final itself, we beat Lincoln 3-0, was again quite a good standout performance from the team. Really good. 5,000 people rocked up as well for that match. After that, I would say the next stand-up defeat was probably then the 7-1 on the second last day of the season from against Angels, where Morgan, Austin both got 2 goals each. And on the last day of the season itself, we beat Lincoln 4-0. And again, this was actually a pretty good match with the title still on the line at that point. You couldn't have, you know, picked a better final game of the season. 4,586 people came to watch the game, which is the highest ever attendance achieved in this league. So, you know, like I said, it was a really, really good match, and we won 4-0 most importantly, and we won the league title. And then the last day of the domestic season for us, we beat St. Joseph's 4-0. So, you know, that it's been a good year. Also, something I didn't mention when I should have mentioned it quite a bit around the start of the season, but I guess I'll mention it now, is that we actually had a fan day earlier on in the season. Now, for those who don't know what that does, pretty much, if a fan day is when they either offer a deal for your tickets, so it could be half price, could be bar one, you know, kids come half price, or you know, free entry for under 16s or something. They offer some sort of deal to try and increase the capacity for that game. If your fan day is successful, more likely than not, you're going to see your average attendance increase. And we were able to get a fan day for the first time in probably since the first or second season at this club. So it's been a long time since I've had one, but we got it for the Lynx match and we won 4-1. As you can see, it was between the Freiburg games, and we had 3,898 people come to watch us play Lynx. And you know, that's a very big crowd against Lynx. Actually, if we compare that to last year, but bear in mind that every year our attendance does increase, but if we compare that to last year when we played them at home, where we got 3,091, you know, 800 more people turning up to watch the game. Where is it? Oh, I went backwards to the forwards. Where is it? Just to make sure it was 800 between the Freiburg games. I can't see it. Am I not in the right season? I am. Where is it? Why is it? Okay, there you go. That's the problem. Yeah, the Lynx match. You know, an extra 800 people rocked up to see the game. They said it was successful. I think there has been an increase in our attendances. And also, I would say our fan base has definitely grown. On a few points near the end of the season, as you can see, we had 5 away games in a row here. I think for about 3 of them, it said that we would bring a capacity away attendance, which means we actually brought in 1,000 people to come watch the game. And in fact, one of the games it said that in was the Mons Calpe game. I think I said that right either way. But in the Rock Cup quarter-final, I actually said we were going to bring 1,000 people to the match. And as you can see, the attendance was 1,664. So in the end, we were the majority of the fans in the stadium. You know, we have one of the biggest followings, if not the biggest following. I think, so, you know what? We do have the biggest following in this season, in this country, and I don't think we're too far now from maybe getting near the 4,000 people per game. I mean, we can get it for the Links matches. We can get it for the Lincoln matches and maybe the Man 62 matches, but not against all of them. And, you know, maybe soon in a few more years, if our reputation can continue to grow, because we still are a one-star reputation team even after our great Champions League campaign. But if we can continue to grow that, then who's to say we can't be, you know, filling the stadium and maybe even in the future looking to maybe build a new one. Although, if I had the choice, I'd rather just ask to move into Europa Point, because we could just make that our home and then we wouldn't have a need to build a new stadium. But either way, that's how we did there. So let's talk about how the league has grown and things like that. So the league is now rated 85 in Europe in terms of reputation. And where does that put us? It puts us just behind the English. Where is it? 90. Does it not put it in order? It never seems to put it in order. 85, sorry, 85 there. It was just behind the Vanarama Conference, as you can see. It does put the league up to 1.5-star reputation now, which is good. We're also above, as you can see, the Welsh Premier Division, which is the next highest top division that I could see. I don't know where the next one is. Last time I pointed it out, it was like the the Norwegian third tier, I think someone pointed out to me. But I think that was the next one, Northern Ireland. I could be wrong there. It could be another one, but like I said, I don't really recognise many of the names of the leagues, so I couldn't tell you if, you know, one was the highest or one was, you know, the third or fourth tier. Either way, but yeah, you know, the league is growing. So, you know, we as a team may not be growing in reputation, but if the league is, that will still enable more people, or still mean that more people will be willing to come to our club because the league looks a little better than it did in the past. In terms of qualification places, I don't believe we changed. I believe we still have the same amount of people entering and exiting entering the stages of the competition. However, as you can see, we're now the 35th highest qualification places awards being up there. That sounded wrong. Let me say that again. We're now ranked 35th instead of being ranked, I think we were like 46 when we last season, or 43 was it? We were something pretty low. So we've jumped up massively due to that Champions League campaign from us. And who's to say, you know, another maybe 2-3 more good campaigns like that, getting to the group stages, maybe even progressing further, and then maybe we can be looking to add another team into a team into the second qualifying phase of the Europa League. You know, that would most probably be Lincoln. But no, who's to say we couldn't be doing that in the next 3-4 years? You know, in the short-term future, not long-term. Now we're not looking at thinking, all right, 5 years time, maybe we'll be getting this. We've got to be thinking about short-term now, because I think that's how ambitious we can be. We've got a decent squad here. We just need to use it. Sorry, I'm looking here. I thought at one point you could get 4 teams in the Europa League. But I guess not. I was just thinking back to my Welsh save. I thought that was possible, but I guess not. I thought I was just checking all of the numbers there. Look how high Liechtenstein are. Why are Liechtenstein so high? How? I know what their team is. Their team plays like the Swiss League, but I wonder how far they get each year, because they must do well to be ranked 21st. You know, they must get quite far in the competition. As a club, in terms of reputation, of course, we're going to be nowhere. But in terms of coefficients, we grew a lot in terms of coefficients this year. As a matter of fact, we are now in the top 200 for clubs in terms of coefficient points. So there we go, 182nd team in Europe. And as you can see, look at the teams around us. There's Tel Aviv. Hearts are just up there. Vitesse. Or Vitesse, isn't it? Vitesse? I have no idea. Again, that's why I bought Pad. But PAOK, the team we played last year to build funds up, you know, in a friendly, we should be considered a better team than them in terms of European coefficient points. So I'm not sure what, you know, how the draw will be this year, whether we'll be seeded or not. Of course, we will find out today who we get in the Champions League. I'll continue forward and we'll have a look. But you know, with the points we currently have, there is that chance that we are going to be a seeded team this year. So that could lead to an easier second round draw, which, you know, would be really good, which would mean we get to third qualifying phase no matter what, really, because we should beat an unseeded team. But yeah, I think that's all I can talk about in terms of reputations and growths and things and stuff like that. As I already mentioned, the club is still 1 star. Nothing has changed there. So let's go into the finances, because as you can see, it is really, really good right now. we have 9 million in the bank. And the reason for this is because, well, obviously we got the money entering the Champions League, which shot us up. As we were playing in the Champions League, bear in mind that despite the fact we were not winning games, we were picking up probably over 100 grand per game at home, just on the basis of ticket sales. So as a result, when we were playing in the Champions League, we were actually making a little bit of money. As you can see here, you know, I don't know what month this would count as. I think it's September to, I don't know, to whenever. So let's say here to here. As you can see, we actually grew due to the fact, maybe had a little dip here or there, but we gained money playing in the Champions League group stages just through ticket sales. And then at the end of the season, we picked up £4.4 million from TV revenue. And I knew we would bring in money for TV revenue. So overall, in the Champions League this season, we earned over £10 million. That is a lot of money, especially, you know, this graph is the perfect indication of how much money we've got for a club of our size. Because the bar at the, you know, for the past 4 years is so small, so insignificant compared to the money we have now. And hopefully we can continue to earn more money. I have got currently facilities and things being improved. We have both training and youth facilities being built. I said in the past our youth facilities don't make a difference, but with the amount of money we currently have now, I feel we can, you know, even if it doesn't make a difference, why not improve it? Improving your facilities does have a direct relationship with your reputation. So, you know, we're gonna, while I can, like I say, while I can, I'm gonna try and spend some money, and hopefully, you know, we'll continue to reach the group stage football. We'll continue to earn that 6 million base that we can get, maybe get a few results in the group. That will be what we were trying to aim for, really. So I have no doubt we can afford that. They'll both be completed at the, I think, is that the start of 2026. So that'll be good. You know, obviously that is a plus. Also, we have had our junior coaching be improved. If I go on to general, facilities quickly, as you see, we now have excellent junior coaching, and this will definitely have an effect on the quality of our youth players. Because the more junior coaching you have, I believe it increases your players' current ability when they join your team. And I'll have a look at my youth intake in a second, because some of them are actually in the senior squad. They're that good. I say senior squad, they're on the bench, they're backup players, but they're still, you know, they're still pretty decent, and they're better than the youth players we've got in the past. So that's something, you know, I'm seeing an improvement, and that's really all you want to see. I just looked at this, you know, I haven't actually looked at this screen in a long time. I rarely bother looking at this. I'm not sure how much this has changed. If I've looked at this at the start of the game, then it would be good to go back and compare. But I'm not sure if I've looked at this too much in the past. But I like that. The estimated value of the club is £18 million. I actually did an interview for the end of season interview, so after we won the Rock Cup, and I was asked if I would ever leave the side, and I said no. You know, I said I would never leave this team, and it's true. And again, someone asked in the comments, have I ever been offered deals at the club for other clubs, and, you know, have I ever been asked for interviews? And I get asked for interviews probably 4 or 5 times a month. Obviously now, when, you know, sackings have already been and gone through, it's obviously going to be quiet, and it's pretty quiet for the first few months of the season. But then I just get job offers after job offers. I get anything as well, from the conference, to the championship. For example, at the end of this season, I was offered the Derby County job. Derby County are currently 5th in the championship when they offered me an interview. You know, it just shows I've got the reputation to do things, and the fact that I have that reputation benefits the club, because people want to work. Well, people will want to play under me, and that is perfect. If you can gather good reputation, you can again help the club attract better players, because they want to be under your leadership, and that'll only benefit the team. I just noticed as well, Matthew Kirby has been added to the Legends list. That was one of the things that instantly stood out to me. 20 years of age, actually scored in the Lincoln game at the end of the season. He actually had his best, I would say he had his best year. I don't know, actually, maybe last year, because his rating was a little bit better. But he played his most games ever for us this year. I don't think he'll be doing it for too much longer with us, though, sadly. I've got a new left midfielder coming in at the end of the season. I'll actually show you him now. But I've got a new left midfielder coming in at the end of the season. I've got, obviously, and actually, I want to try and sign an even better one if I can. Because, again, I'm going to talk about the money we've got in terms of spending and stuff. So he may not play for us too much longer, and that may obviously upset the fans, but that's how things have got to be, I'm afraid. Like I said, we are a progressing team. I've said it in the past. We've got to progress quickly. We want to progress quickly, and that means players who are no longer good enough, I'm afraid, just have to leave. We can't keep a hold of people just for the sake of keeping hold of them. Antonio Jesus Sanchez, where's he playing at now? Mallorca B. He actually did pretty well there, so you know what? Good on him. Where's Montgomery playing? He's retired. Where's Sanchez? Oh, I already looked at Sanchez, and of course Gregory retired quite a while ago. Where's Alex Portillo? Played for us for 2 years. I completely forgot about Portillo. Honest to God, I completely forgot who he was. He's now playing in some smaller teams in Spain. But yeah, that's a little look at the background of the club. I don't really do that enough in a way, so yeah. And this is the team, of course, the team. You can see some of the stats there. A few that stand out to me. Miller's 24 goals in 28 starts. 10 assists from Kirby. 9 assists from both strikers. Alvaro with 9 goals, 8 assists. Flipping out, Amari's 8 goals from defence. He was pretty good for a goal scorer this season. In fact, he got the same amount as Austin. So I know he played a lot more games than him, but still, you know, he got the same amount there. And looking at the screen, I just realised I've got a few signings that I haven't gone through, so I'll just go through them here. The first one is Gareth Edwards, 24 years of age, Welsh player, a former under-21s international. You may be wondering why I bothered signing him, and it was purely on the basis of backup. £120 a week for a player of his ability, I thought was a really good steal, and one we couldn't really turn our noses up at. He actually ended up playing 5 times for us, and actually played enough to earn himself 3 trophies. He played in all the cup finals, including the Rock Cup. The reason he played in the Rock Cup is because there were a few injuries. The same with the Premier Division, the Premier Cup. Injuries kept other people out, so Edwards ended up playing. So, you know what? From what I've seen from him, he's not a bad player. And like I said, as a backup option, which is what he is, I couldn't look away really. I thought, look, that's a steal, and that's something I need to do as well over the summer. I mentioned how no one. Sorry about that, guys. Interruption, but. I spoke about how in the past how this summer we've got no first team members leaving, and that is very good for us because what it means is I can now go look for players with no real rush that I need to sign them. I know these guys are good enough to, if I want to actually sort out the starting 11, but I know these guys are good enough to get me through the first few stages of the Champions League. So I can take my time, try and find some good players and add them into the team and then incorporate them slowly. You know, I can also add squad depth doing it that way. You know, I could be like, all right, what is my weakest position looking at right now? It's probably going to be the centre mid, right mid. I've said I'm bringing in a new left mid this season, so I probably won't look at that instantly. Like right now, I won't bother saying I need another left mid because I've got one coming in. I don't know how good he's going to be, so I might as well give him a chance. But I'll probably say, all right, we'll probably look for a centre mid. We'll probably look to try and replace Di Matteo. You know, and once I bring that guy in, I can then drop Di Matteo to the bench, you know, and then, like I said, I've got no real rush to be like, oh God, I've got to sign a right back because I don't have a right back this season. I've done that in the past, and it's not a good feeling. I get to them Champions League games, and I think I still haven't signed that bloke. I'm going to be in a really bad position because we're playing a youth player. But none of that this year. And also, one name you'll see returning to the team is Benjamin Saidi. I saw him out on the free transfer. I thought, well, you know what? He played for us last time. He played for 6 games for us in the Champions League. Scored 1 goal. Also played in the Cup, actually. I forgot about that. Played in the Pepe Reyes Cup defeat to Lincoln, I believe. So, but yeah, I saw him out there, and I thought, again, you know, for a backup player, he's not too bad. You know, about the same ability as Rod Austin. I thought, yeah, you know what, I'm going to go for that. And look at his goal scoring record for us in the league. If that's all he's really, you know, if he can do that, I don't really mind. You know, because what it does mean is I may go, all right, Rod Austin, Stephen Miller, you're my 2 Champions League strikers. Saidi, you're going to play in the next league game for us then. With his goal scoring record this year, I have no doubt he'll score a few goals next year. And that'll help us keep our league standard high as well as trying to push for the Champions League at the same time. But I spoke about how we had some new youth players in the team, and I'm going to go through the key ones right now. So the first guy is Kevin Stockbridge, probably one of the best young players who's come for our youth system in a while, which is quite tragic when you look at some of his stats. But again, it's the reality of the kind of players we can produce. And not too bad. I don't think he played for us last season, so maybe next year he'll be making his debut. In fact, definitely next year he'll be making his debut. So yeah, that's not too bad. Who else? Also, Nathan Taylor came for our youth system. Doesn't look too bad. Already growing, which is something really good. You know, it's really good to actually see someone grow instantly after they joined. Again, hasn't played for us this year, but actually no, he came through last year, Nathan Taylor. I thought he came through this year. My bad. Let's hope that I get this one right. Bruzon, he came through this year. Yeah, he did. Again, pretty tragic that he's one of the better players to come for our youth system with his 2 composure. But, you know, that again, that's where we're at. You know, we've got to accept that. Callum Mitchell, I believe he came for our youth system this year. Not looking too bad. Probably got one of the highest potentials out of the youth system this year. So that's why he's currently in the senior team. But yeah, you know what? I'm really happy where the squad's at right now. Of course, I'm going to look to improve. I spoke in the summer. I spoke when I last saw you in December how I was going to try and sign Alexis Sanchez. That sadly is not going to be possible because he's retiring. You know, that's how old people are at this game now. People are retiring, and I would have loved to have got Sanchez, partly for the novelty of just having Sanchez, but also for the fact that, you know, he was actually a pretty good player. But yeah, like I said, he's retiring, so we'll just have to move on and try and find someone else. So, how much money do we have? We have £3.2 million to spend, and I plan on spending none of that. As I'm going to do it now, I plan on shifting it over to the wage, to the max they'll allow me, and I plan on having 40,000, pretty much £41,000 of wage budget spare. And still, from that 1.81 million, I plan on spending none of it on players. All of it will be spent on agent fees. And the reason for that is because I don't really like signing players when you're a club of this size. You know, with the money we have, say I spend 250k on a player and he turns out in a few years' time, he's no longer good enough. I hate seeing that, and I hate the fact that then I look back and go, what a waste of money. I could have saved that. I could have spent that partially on an improvement to the facilities or something like that. So I doubt I'll spend it. I mean, okay, I ruled it out a second ago, but I doubt I'll spend it at all. I won't plan on spending it, but of course, if I see that incredible youngster, that guy I feel can take us to the next level, I'm going to try and get him. You know, I'm not going to be like, I'm never going to ever going to spend money, but I'm not planning on. I'm not going to go out there and be like, oh, who's on the transfer list? I'm just going to see who's out there, and if someone happens to be worth a little bit of money, I'm going to spend it, obviously, if I feel they're good enough and worth it, obviously. You already know about Fran Benitez. He's coming in at the end of the season. I thought he was coming in last year, but he's coming in this year. Him and Ibondo will be battling for that right back role for the upcoming season. Flibo Borgo, he's coming in, right midfielder, coming in from Atalanta, under 20s. Doesn't look too bad, in all honesty. A defensive winger is his main role. I don't play that, obviously. I play wingers, but even then, I still think he's got, well, maybe not the flair to do it, but he's still not a bad player, you know. Pretty good, well-rounded stats, 21 years of age, so he can definitely grow. Got experience playing in Serie A this year. I didn't actually know he played for Atalanta this year. Might have been in the second half of the season. But Serie B, you know, doesn't do too bad. So overall, I think we could have a pretty good player here for the future, as well as right now. And why is this guy joining? Oh, this guy's joining in 28 for the start of the transfer window, obviously. I wondered why the date was different. And the last guy we signed, or are going to sign when the transfer window opens, is Carlos. 20 years of age, Brazilian left midfielder. He's a new guy who I was speaking about. As you can see, not got the pace really for a winger, but you know, hopefully he can put in a good performance. He did pretty well in Brazil's third tier, I believe that is. So obviously it's quite a big change for him to go from that to playing in Europe, playing in Gibraltar, speaking English, speaking Spanish. Obviously he speaks Portuguese right now, Brazilian Portuguese. So, you know, I don't know exactly how he's going to adapt, but hey, you know what? You know, there's no harm really. And again, I don't think his wage was particularly high. So that's why I said, you know, I'm signing a left mid, but if I can see a better left mid, I'm going to go for it because I know his wage isn't going to destroy me. It's not even near 1,000, I don't believe. So, you know, I think that's a really good signing, Carlos. But yeah, those are the three guys we've brought in. I think I spoke about, you know, all my signings I signed in December. I did, or January, but they were already pre-signed. As you can see, loan list-wise, we do loan out a lot of our players. Jamie Carroll was released on a free. He wanted to leave the side, said he wasn't happy, and I just let him go. He's signed by Lincoln now. Lincoln always signing our crappy players. But yeah, we've not really got much transfer action to talk about. So that's good for a change. You know, it's good to be like, yeah, he's leaving. No one's leaving. So that's just a real good change for us. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else I can talk about surrounding the club right now. I think I did everything I wanted to. One thing actually I do want to talk about affiliate clubs. Now we currently have 0, which is something I really want to change, but the club just don't seem up to trying to find me anything. You know, I'll talk to them about finding me a senior affiliate, and they'll be like, oh, I don't really see the point in it. But it's like, we can get money out of them. You know, we can get anywhere between 20 to 100,000 I've seen in the past just from an agreement between clubs. Why wouldn't you try and do that? It's free money. And then I also decided this year, with all the money we've got through the Champions League and all the money we're potentially going to be getting in the future, I wanted to set up an affiliation with a club in the lower division in Gibraltar. I wanted to set up an affiliation with, let me have a look at some of the teams in the lower division. It's league table. I wanted to, I'm on the same one still. I wanted to set up an affiliation with someone like Europa Point. You know, Glasses United, who are actually a Premier League team when I started this game. Or I have been in the Premier League in the past. I just knocked my mic if that made a loud noise. I apologise. Olympique, who have struggled when they've been relegated. I wanted to set up a link with one of these clubs, pay them a very small amount of money, maybe £2,000–3,000 a year, just so I could loan them a few players, which would obviously benefit them and benefit me, because some of the youngsters can then go out on loan and play for them. And also, it would just be about distributing the wealth again. You know, we get a lot of money, more money than we can really use at this current point, you know, but... So, you know, what's a few £1,000s going to do to a club who pick up that amount of money just from, you know, having a Champions League match at their home ground? It's going to do nothing. So I would have loved to have had the choice of done that, picked one of the lower teams in this league, picked one of the lower reputation teams in this league, and, you know, allowed them to grow as a team. All these teams are amateurs, so a couple £1,000s would have done wonders for them. You know, it could have been the difference between them, you know, being one of the bottom teams or being, you know, pushing for a promotion. Hell, Hound Dogs have been in that league for as long as I can remember. In fact, looking at the people in that league, I don't believe I don't believe Red Imps can be promoted. And I think everyone else has at one point or another played in the top tier. So, you know, I would have loved to have set up an affiliation with Hound Dogs. That would have been pretty good. Allow them to grow as a team. Like I say, to me, it doesn't make sense why I wouldn't want to distribute the income. But of course, I can't do that because the game doesn't allow me to do that. It should once, you know, it did in the past. The board would be like, all right, we've set up enough trust with you now that we'll let you pick who you want to be affiliated with. But I haven't had that yet. Yeah, I'm a legend at this side. I've been here for over a decade now. They still don't let me do that. I don't even know if that's a thing anymore. It may not even be a thing. If that is a thing, tell me, because I want to know. Because I want that to be something I can do. I want to set up an affiliation with one of these clubs. Like I say, a few £1,000s isn't going to do me any harm, but it'll do them flipping wonders. Actually, there were a few things in the inbox I could go through, so I'm going to go through them. Sponsorship money. This is a very, very big thing. As you can see, we pick up £100,000 out of the possible £250,000 that is actually generated in the league. So, we pick up a massive majority of that. And the average in this league is 30,000. And again, I know that has grown because I know for a fact when I started in this division, the average was nowhere near 30,000. So at least the club is gaining money and gaining recognition. And, you know, as its reputation is growing, so too is the money that is flowing inwards to it. And the clubs are getting to see the benefits from that. And really, that's because of my incredible ability to get this team pretty far into Europe. Another thing, actually, we were not awarded overachievers in the Champions League. I don't know why. Sparta Prague, who finished third in their group, were considered overachievers for finishing third in their group. I picked up a point in my group. And yet, no, the little team from Gibraltar, they didn't do anything. You know, they just got to the group stage for the first time in their country's history. But no, you know, of course, they didn't pick up any. They didn't deserve anything. Here's another thing. We got some new sponsorship deals, not kills. Look at that. Our kit sponsorship. I didn't actually look at this really too much. I knew it was there, but I didn't bother really reading the numbers or the figures because I knew they had just increased. But wow, it almost doubled our main kit sponsor and our additional continental competition sponsor. Again, almost doubled really. So that's obviously where we're picking up a lot of our money from. We made absolutely massive profits, by the way. Look at that. The board announced the dividends totaling 2.8 million will be paid to shareholders. If you own shares at this club, you are going to be rolling in it. There's the 4.8 million we picked up from the Champions League television revenue. And not only that, by winning the Rock Cup, which is why I continue to scroll, I'm continuing scrolling down here. By winning the Rock Cup, we also picked up about 360 odd thousand, maybe. Could be wrong there. I'm just seeing if I can see it. I don't think it was played in March the game. So yeah, I guess it's not there anymore. But yeah, we picked up about 360 odd thousand pounds. I think it's a million a second. 360 odd thousand pounds from winning that competition. So that cup really does wonders for us, because it means that typically if we don't do, maybe say for 1 year for whatever reason we don't do well in Europe, that cup competition can pretty much cover our wages or help cover any potential debts that we could get in that season, which, you know, is what everyone wants. You know, everyone wants that cup competition. But yeah, I'll continue forward now. I'll get to the Champions League draw and I'll show you who we got. Sorry guys, I said I'd be back for the Champions League draw, but this made me laugh. My new average attendance at the club is 5,071. We managed to have an average attendance of 71 people, bigger than our actual attendance. But I know why, and obviously the Champions League games have given us that. But yeah, that was just something funny for me, you know, the fact that that was a thing. I'm sure if I asked the board for a new stadium now, they would have to consider it, with that new average attendance in all competitions being noticed. And also as well, I want to kind of point out something. Perez is actually picking up a lot of interest right now. The young 21-year-old Venezuelan international, I don't think I mentioned this, but he does actually play now for the Venezuelan national team. Yeah, he's picking up a lot of interest from actual big teams. You know, a lot of Belgian, Austrian teams are coming in for him. So he's obviously, I don't plan on letting him go anywhere, but you know, you never know. A big offer could come in, the board could accept it, Perez could kick up a fuss saying he wants to leave. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but obviously I just have to watch out with that one, really, see how things develop. Alright guys, so we know who we've got. We've got Keflavik, I believe it's pronounced, a Icelandic team. I don't think they're normally in the Champions League. They're actually a semi-professional team, so instantly we're given an upper hand, we're given an advantage due to the fact they're not full-time. Something I do know about the Icelandic division is that it is played from winter to winter. So they play through the summer, but they have winter off, unlike, say, for my league, which we play through the winter but have the summer off. So their players will be fit, you know, despite being semi-pro, they will be match fit, they will be ready for the match. We do have 3 friendlies before this game, so we should as well be match fit. But how did they do last year? They were not in Europe last year. How about the year before that? Knocked out the Europa League first qualifying. Not in the, no. Fuck me, we couldn't have been given an easier draw by the looks of it. Alright, so, oh no, Man City won the tournament, boo. Yeah, you know, we should be through to the Champions League third qualifying phase. I shouldn't really get too far ahead of myself, but I'm going to say that. I'm confident that the team will perform against them. It's not like we don't perform against teams smaller than us, because we constantly beat teams from our own division. And, you know, they're not really tough games. You know, we can beat them, really. If our team really tried, we could win every game 5-1, 5-2. You know, obviously we concede a few goals, but I think we could definitely outscore any team in our own league. So I definitely feel we're going to beat them guys. You know, I don't think we'll have to worry about lack of motivation. But yeah, you know, looking forward to it. So I'll meet you back for that match game. I'll meet you back for that match, guys. 3 players ineligible. I don't think I've registered them yet, so that's probably why. But yeah, hopefully we'll be tasting Champions League group stage football again this year. So until that game, guys, peace out.